I don't know. I don't know about that fight. You know, when we first started talking about it in late 2009, 2010, I loved Manny Pacquiao in that fight. He was just too dynamic, too fast, too strong, too all over the place, too busy. You know, the guy that was averaging 100 punches around against Josh Clottey, I just couldn't see Mayweather defending against that. I'm not saying Mayweather wouldn't have got his licks in or couldn't go the distance. I just couldn't see him outpointing that fighter. But 2011, 2012, Pacquiao slowed down. And of course, at the end of 2012, he got KTFO against Juan Marquez, and I was thinking he was done. And really, even after the Brandon Rios fight, which in retrospect, Manny looked pretty good in that fight. You know, I mean, he outclassed the young man. But I didn't think he was an elite fighter anymore. But after last year, after the way he looked against Timmy Bradley in their rematch, and the way he looked against Chris Algieri, these two young guys, one of them, everybody ranked like number 3 pound for pound, Tim Bradley. Everybody. Yeah, but everybody had him behind Mayweather and Ward, and Manny Pacquiao beat him soundly.
But what about their punching power, those two opponents?
Yeah, they're not punchers. But neither is Mayweather. Maybe Mayweather gets a little bit harder than them, but is Mayweather as active as they are? Does Mayweather move around the way they do? Is Mayweather as tough as Bradley and Chris Algieri? Is he willing? And I'm not saying he's not tough, because I think one of his underrated qualities, along with his physical strength and his punching power, is his durability. But is he willing to take the kind of beatings that a Tim Bradley and a Chris Algieri will take? What was that?
He fought Maidana. Maidana does punch hard.
He did. And you know what? Maidana extended him in both fights. The second fight, he won clearly. The first fight with Maidana was a close fight. I thought that was a 7 rounds to 5 fight in favor of Mayweather, but I don't know. You know, given their respective last years, I see it as a toss-up fight. I really do. And I'll put it this way. Pacquiao has been fighting boxer styles. His 2 fights in 2014, he was fighting against a boxing style. Mayweather's 2 fights was against a windmill slugger. And really, if you look at the majority of his opposition for the last 10 years, most of them flat-footed opponents. Most of them guys who are either going to stand in front of you, like a Canelo or a Robert Guerrero or Stock, or guys who just come straight forward, like a Marcos Maidana. And, you know, he could fight those guys in his sleep. I don't know, a guy who's, you know, Manny is not flat-footed. A guy who's in and out with comparable speed, but also punches.
Okay, how would Manny do against Maidana twice?
I think Manny would do to Maidana what he did to Brandon Rios, to be quite honest.
Okay, how would Manny do against Canelo?
That's it. I don't think he would have as easy a time as Floyd did, but styles make fights.
And if they land one punch, and maybe maybe a different Floyd.
Canelo maybe gets Pacquiao out of there.
We'll have to see. So there you have it, Doug Fischer. You excited for 2015?
Absolutely. Well, you know what? Guardedly excited. I'm looking forward to the heavyweight fight later this month between Bermane Stiverne and Deontay Wilder. But you know how boxing is. If something fishy happens in that, like there's a quick stoppage or a bad decision or whatever, I might be sour, at least until May.
Who wins that fight, Wilder-Stiverne?
I like Stiverne. I like Stiverne. Battle-tested. And a difficult style. A guy who can get off hard with either hand from odd angles. It's going to be difficult for Deontay Wilder, but Wilder I think can knock out anybody he hits clean.
How about Jennings-Klitschko?
Jennings, I like Klitschko. You got to go with Klitschko in that one. Yeah, I mean, you know, Jennings is a solid dude, but Klitschko's just on another level.
We're here today, Gennady Golovkin. I don't think anybody beats him right now.
Not at 160. Not at 160. But you know, I think Martin Murray on February 21 in Monte Carlo. I think you know he won't embarrass himself in there. He's going to go in there and he's going to last rounds. He's going to go longer than Daniel Gill and Marco Antonio Rubio did. That I guarantee.
One professional question for you as Ring Magazine. Great cover. Gennady Golovkin. Canelo.
Right.
You had Keith Thurman. And Kovalev.
Right.
Personally, I would have added one more fighter to that list. Lomachenko.
Lomachenko.
That's me.
Yeah.
But I know he only had 3 or 4 fights.
Yeah. But he's got superstar talent and given the right opponents, and he's in the right division, right?
Yeah.
You know, with Nicholas Walters and yeah, a lot of, you know.
But Doug, who else do you think
so many good fighters at
boxing
126?
Who carries boxing after Mayweather and Pacquiao besides those 5 names we mentioned?
Well, there's a heavyweight prospect out of Britain named Anthony Joshua, an Olympic gold medalist from 2012. He's got the look of a superstar. He's got the poise, he's got the technique, he's got the talent, he's got the physical build. I mean, he looks like a superhero.
Yeah.
He's the Incredible Hulk, man. I mean, he looks literally like he could break through brick walls. But he's a smart guy, and he's well spoken and articulate. And he's got some charisma there. So I mean, I think he could be like the new Lennox Lewis. I think he would maybe even be accepted better by today's fans as Lewis was in the 90s. Yeah.
I'll tell you what Malik Scott told me. Malik Scott was on hand when he sparred Klitschko.
Yeah.
And he told me Anthony Joshua did more than hold his own.
Okay, well that tells you something. What Klitschko said after those sparring sessions, he said, "I'd like to promote this guy." And Lennox Lewis, after the Olympics, said, I want to manage this guy. So that tells you something right
What
there.
about this Japanese kid, 115, that everybody's raving about?
Naoya Inoue. Yeah, he's huge.
Is he legit?
He's huge in
7
Japan.
fights, right?
Yeah, 8 fights, 2 division. Went from being a title holder at 108 pounds. He won that title at age 20 in his 6th pro fight, and he leapfrogged flyweight and went straight to junior bantamweight and fought the #1 guy, a guy who'd reigned for many years.
I know.
You know,
Navarre.
Hey, a dude. As a flyweight and a junior bantamweight, he had been in 30 world title fights, and Inoue annihilated him. So he could be a crossover star if he's willing to travel outside of Japan and fight guys like Chocolatito Gonzalez.
Zhao Shiming.
Yeah, Zhao Shiming, that's a huge fight in China. He would destroy Shiming, absolutely. Who's the guy from Mexico? El Gallo, Juan Estrada. Okay. Juan Francisco Estrada. He's a flyweight, got 2 belts. If he were to step up to 115 to fight the Japanese kid, that would be a huge fight. Maybe the Japanese kid goes up and fights some of those tough Japanese bantamweights. I can't think of the guy's name. Shinsuke Yamanaka. He's like a WBC bantamweight champ in Japan, unbeaten, badass. Go to BoxRec, you guys will see. There's fights for him. Those fights have to happen though, and he's got to be willing to leave Japan if he wants people to take notice of him outside of Japan.
Hey, BoxRec, we're playing with my emotions this week.
How so?
They put up Manny is fighting Mayweather. They put it, it's official.
Yeah.
May 2nd, MGM Grand. Why are they doing that?
They just got overexcited.
But they have a responsibility. They're
maybe they see that it's on the books, on some sports books, and like, well, that means it's made, or you hear rumors. Maybe they're onto something. I don't know.
No, they took it down there.
I can't help. Oh, they took it down?
Yeah.
Okay, they're back to being cynics. Yeah. Like me.